Hello and welcome to the Stubzcast. We're back again after a week hiatus, as they say in America. That's a good old term. If you want to check out a great gaming website, please check out www.bg4ghub.com. It's a great independent gaming website that provides news, reviews, opinion pieces, and so much more. And if you'd like an awesome custom gamer picture like I have, made by the graphic god, please go to www.xboxgamerpigs.com. This week we have Mav, aka Fun Speculation. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome, dude. Thanks for having me. This is going to be fun. I've been looking forward to this for a while now. Got to see a lot of my friends get to be on this show and hear a lot about them, and I'm excited to hopefully share some stuff as well, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to it because when I seen that Husks beat me to it, because we have this kind of deal where we leave a gap between our guests if we book the same. I messaged him saying, "Oh, you beat me to getting Mav." I was like, we had this thing where we leave a gap because I've got this thing where I think if you keep doing it week after week on different shows, people may get bored of it. So right. It's not the same kind of show, but it's similar, if you see what I mean. So there's been a bit of a gap since then, and a bit of a gap since Profits as well. We'll give a bit of some shout outs. Welcome, Goat Force Gaming. Welcome, Pong Soul. Welcome, Profit. Welcome to the Indie Gamer. What else we got in here? Let's have a look. Let's go back over. Welcome, Caitlin. Welcome to Nick Knack Paddywhack. Hello.
Give a dog a bone.
Yeah, I nearly said that. Let's have a look.
Hi, everyone in the chat. Y'all are all awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Welcome, Infinite. I think I've seen him at the top. I've lost it now, so that was quite a long chat. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. So it's been a while. It's been a while in the making. Because when you went on the Husk show, I was like, I messaged you because people kept recommending you. I was like, you're on my list. I've got to wait a bit. I was like,
yeah. So I remember seeing that on Twitter, and like Stubz is DMing me like, "Hey, I already wanted you to have you on, but I can't do it right now just because." I'm like, "Hey, no worries, man. We'll just whenever you're ready or whenever it makes sense for you guys, we'll do it then." And I'm excited to be on now, man. The cool thing is I got to watch I think just about everybody that's on Xbox Ultimate hang out with you and do an interview. Yeah, so it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah, we'd like to give a shout out to Assassin Loop. I hope you're doing all right. I was trying to get hold of you, but I'm hoping you're doing well. You're a good friend. And after my show with you on the Community Spotlight, we had an in-depth chat. And so she did warn me if I do disappear, Stubbs, don't worry. But I do, She's a lovely woman, she is.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of you.
And that was a great episode you had with Lupa, by the way.
Oh, it was. But what you didn't see,
so much stuff.
We were still talking an hour after the show.
Yeah.
We were, But yeah, it was because she didn't intentionally mean to out her age.
Yeah.
That was done by mistake, she said. She's on the show. I didn't mean to do that because I've known for a while how old Lupa is. And I've told her it don't matter. People won't treat you differently. And she had this fear that people would treat her differently, and she never wanted that.
Yeah.
But in the end, she's got the confidence now. She knows people won't treat her like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think it's awesome to to be able to have that experience that she had with games, which is different than a lot of us got to enjoy, being able to work at an arcade back in those days.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just talking about living in a time, in a place, and getting to experience something that a lot of us couldn't imagine, right? That's kind of like a dream, to be able to possibly go back and be in that experience. So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Prophet says, I'm 23 and I'm young and stupid. Now, I didn't want to bring this up, Mav, but young and stupid comes up to my mind for Prophet. He made a bloody video of you talking about you've got a small dick. What the hell's that about?
No, it was a joke.
Oh, it
He
was.
so he put in the chat like, "Hi, my name is Mike," and then the last name Oxmal, Oxmaul, right? And I
Okay.
read it and I was like, "Is he actually telling me his name?" And I was looking at it thinking, Mike Oxmal, and I know he's Australian. So I was like, is that a typical Australian last name, Oxmal? I don't know. There are a lot of oxes in Australia, and like some reason that kind of became a thing. I don't know. So I was like reading it, Mike Oxmal, and then he got me, so he clipped it. He asked me if he could post it and stuff. Yeah,
Oh, he
it
didn't
is
just
about it.
post it. He did ask you. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all, hey, people want to have fun with me. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's all in good fun.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to bring it up, but it was HR Bomber that said, "Is it going to?" Because I had to DM him, going like, I think Caitlin had retweeted. She was waiting for it, the show, and he said, "You can ask him about the video." So I DM'd him, "What video?" And then he told me, he said, "It's on Profit's channel. Go and have a look." I was like, "Well, I don't really. It's not that kind of show, but
Yeah.
if it fits in, and it did when he mentioned Young and Stupid." I was like, "But no, you're a good bloke, Profit. You went a really good show." And I'm really glad you brought the Profit Cast back because it's an enjoyable show. And apparently, I'm the inspiration for him bringing the show back. So he tells me, But he runs a good show. He does.
Yep.
Hopefully, there's
Absolutely.
more to come. There is. So, how did you? When did you get back? When did you get into gaming then?
When I've been gaming my whole life since I can remember. My earliest memories of playing games was we had this Intellivision that we pulled out of the closet, and we had it ever since I was born. Right.
Nice.
So we had it in a box in the closet. We'd pull it out and hook it up to the big wooden furniture TV, and we'd play the Intellivision games. That had the little slide plastic inserts for the controllers. You had the little like phone cord type
Okay.
controllers on there with the knobs and stuff, and it was a blast to play like Burger Time and Utopia, and I think it was Frog Bog, I think is the name of it, and Astro Smash. So many like awesome games playing like my brother and my sister who are both
So,
older than me.
sorry to
Um,
interject there. With you saying you had it in television, would you
yeah,
be interested in a newer television console that's
yeah,
coming out
I
now?
I'm very interested in that, the Amico.
I mean,
Um,
that's it, yeah. Because Mike Mullis goes on about all the time. Shouts to Mike, NLG Gamers Guild brother.
Yeah, so apparently I say that wrong. It's actually like Amico or something like that. But I don't care. To me, it's Amico. That's how I'm going to say it. That seems like a great family-friendly, fun console to just play like games. It kind of fills the same spot that the Wii did for a lot of people, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, that was a crazy
somebody
console.
that doesn't ever play games can probably pick that up and still
Yeah,
have
because I
a fun
remember
experience.
when the Wii was out, even my boss said, "Sean, I've got a Wii." I was like, "Wow," because he
Yeah,
knew I was a gamer, you know. And he says, "I've got a Wii," but then he barely ever used it. It was one of
hmm
them facts, where everyone gets one.
yeah,
Because they managed to capture because he wasn't retired, but his age was up there, you know,
hmm
and everyone from a child to 60, 70 year olds had a Wii. It was the whole
yeah,
selling point. They managed to capture the bloody globe just about. Anyone
yeah,
who, you know what I mean? That was incredible sales wise, the Wii was, you know. And I think a long time ago, a lot of the people knocked the Wii. And one day, Nintendo got pissed off and they announced their finances and said that if we lost 20 mil every year for the next 50 years or something, we'd be fine. They said about their finances
yeah,
because a lot of people get saying, "Oh, well, if the Wii don't change, they go bust and all that." And I said, "Right, let's set the record straight because they're a seriously rich company. Nintendo are. They got their money. They've got is fucking incredible, you know. But Nintendo's a different market. I believe they're in their own lane. They are, you know. I do.
oh yeah.
They
Yeah,
are.
I'm
But
not
no,
happy. Honestly, I'm not happy with the lane that Nintendo's in right now,
no.
personally.
But
But
to be honest, there's nothing you can do.
yeah,
They're not going to change the ways, and people keep buying their stuff. So as is a saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You
Yeah,
see what I
yeah, I
mean?
hear you.
You know, but I will get a Wii. Not a Wii. I had a Wii. I do want to get a Wii again. I will get a Switch eventually. Mr. Tushi's got one. He's enjoying that, but I don't like the situation where, say, what's that? Animal Crossing. If you want to both play it, you both got to buy two Switches. What's that about?
It's the worst thing, and I
You know
can't
what I
believe
mean?
there wasn't more outrage over that thing. It's
You know
like
what I mean?
we had the problem at my house because I had a Switch, and I got Animal Crossing for my daughter, but I wanted to play it as well, so she played a little bit. I made the island for her account and all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? But then like she just lost interest and didn't play,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But then she
Oh,
didn't want me to advance it for her in case she
oh,
wanted to play. So
oh.
I'm stuck not being able to really advance the game. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, so what do I do? And then I had to eventually, like, if I wanted to play, I had to have a talk with her. Okay, either I just never play this. You're never gonna. Are you actually gonna play this? Because I don't want to delete your island in order to make a new one if you're gonna play it. You know? And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna play it. So then like weeks go by, and she still doesn't play it. Right? So it's like, so I can't do anything. It just became an issue, and it's an unnecessary issue for there to be. You know what I mean? Like it should be a simple thing. Go make a new island, right?
It should be,
But
but yeah,
it wasn't.
they will always get away with it until people rise up, and they won't, because the
Yeah.
majority of Nintendo gamers are the casual consumers, and they're not bothered. Don't seem to be anyway.
Yeah.
You know. Welcome, Mama Rocks. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, Psychonauts. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry to get you sidetracked. So the
No, no
Intellivision
problem.
you're on about. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked. But Stubbs always gets sidetracked.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
do.
Yeah. So we played and the television. Then me and my brother shared a room when I was young. He was 6 years older than me though. So like, we got a console at that time, it was his decision. Like whatever he kind of wanted is what we got, right? Because he was the kid that was that age, right? That was, you know. And so the console we got next was the Sega Master System, which you guys called the Mega Drive, I believe.
No,
Or no,
no,
y'all called the Genesis the Mega Drive, right?
that's it. Yeah.
Did y'all call the Master System there?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we had the Master System. We played the heck out of Double Dragon and the Safari game where you with the light gun that came with it, and Space Harrier. Just so many different games. Had a blast. Then I got an NES, or not an NES, a Super NES. I think a 64, PlayStation, GameCube, PS2, PS3, 360, Dreamcast. I mean, pretty much almost every console since that time. I didn't get the Saturn, and I didn't get a Genesis. So I skipped on those because we had Nintendo and PlayStation at that time.
So you were a Nintendo guy then, not a Sega.
Yeah, I started out Sega, then I went Nintendo for the SNES and the 64, and then I became, I would say, PlayStation and then Dreamcast. Sega again. The Dreamcast was like one of my favorite consoles of all time.
Yes.
But I did skip on the Saturn and the Genesis, and that wasn't because I didn't want them. It was just because we could only afford one console when I was a kid, right? So it was something we got for Christmas or something, and it was like, pick which one you want. It wasn't like, hey, you want this one more than the others. We had to make a decision, and back then it just seemed like that's the one I wanted more because either friends were playing it or they had Mario or whatever, you know. And then, but like I said, Dreamcast was amazing. Like I freaking loved it, and I loved the PlayStation 1 a lot.
Oh yeah, so many classic games.
PS2 was great.
Another one.
Loved the PS2. And then when the Xbox came out, I got involved into that, and then once Xbox Live came out, that changed the game for me. Right, Xbox Live was the game changer. That unified online gaming experience to be able to have a friends list and chat with your friends, playing games, and that made a big difference. And I've still had every console. As an adult, I've always tried to make sure I have every console because I don't like missing out on things, right? So I'm gonna get a PS5. I'm gonna get the new Switch whenever it comes out. I had a Switch, but I sold it recently.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, you've had a good grasp of all the consoles over the years. I mean,
Yeah.
Dreamcast. I mean, I never owned a Dreamcast, but my uncle had one, and I used to go around and play on it. And like, was it Quake or Unreal Tournament? Used to play that. Tennis. But one thing we loved, we played against. We played online multiplayer, and that's where multiplayer first started. Was a Dreamcast. People forget this.
Yeah, that and the PS2 had a network adapter that you could get for it, but the Dreamcast was first. The Dreamcast actually had the phone line built into the back.
Yeah, it was, and we played against people from America, and you had text talk, and we were talking to someone from America, and we thought it was incredible.
Yeah,
it was playing against someone from America, revolutionary back then, though, weren't it? Something new in the console space.
For me, it was those sports games on the Dreamcast is what I played online, and that and Phantasy Star. I played Phantasy Star online on the Dreamcast as well. And those games were like, okay, this is like new experience. But then still on the console, and even on PC, like there was each game had its own its own online infrastructure, its own online system, its own online way to play with other people. There wasn't like a overarching online experience like Xbox Live yet, right? So that's what kind of changed things.
I have to agree with you.
It was more like PC gaming back then, and PC gaming had Command and Conquer. I played a lot online, with that. Westwood Studios. Yeah. Neverwinter Nights, I played a lot online. They had custom servers and stuff. That was a blast.
Yeah, it was so different back then. It was. Back then, a lot of people had PC because I don't know how much my dad paid for a PC, but he got a PC to play games on it. I don't think they were that expensive PCs. Here's like a time something. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but he used to play games like Doom and Dune and Command and Conquer on it.
Yeah,
you're not talking highly intense graphics, but back then they were quite good graphics.
Oh, back then they were the showstoppers on those systems. And like we didn't ever have a PC that could run anything well, and I could barely get Command and Conquer to run. And Neverwinter Nights, I could barely. I had to put it on low settings usually. Like we had a E-Machines PC that we got for cheap. We just couldn't afford like the PC gaming. My uncle was really into PC gaming, and I remember he kept getting me these games like on because back then the games still came on disc on PC, right? They did, and he would always get me these games, and I would take it home like excited, and I would try and play it, and I couldn't play it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Welcome, Green Pass Gaming, I presume that's flat. Welcome, Dragon Wolf. Welcome, HTK, and welcome, a Muppet. How you doing? I met Muppet in Dazzy's stream, in UK Daz Ridge Racer stream.
Oh, right on. The Daz, the master of racers.
But you've got to be fair to him, though. He literally is. He's doing that one-handed now.
Oh, I know.
He's racing
one-handed. It's really freaking good.
What he's learned to do, it's really incredible that. But yeah, no, you've had you've played the majority of all the consoles over the years. Would you say? Obviously, I know you're a big sports guy. I've just about caught up with your latest podcast, and you talked about sports games, and you did on Four Guys with Quarters. That you're really into sports. What were your biggest? Did you have any favourite games growing up, like sports wise? Because it seemed to be quite a big thing you like to play, or used to play, or still do.
I still do. This year's kind of weird for me. It's because I've taken like a break from sports this year in a way. I think with COVID and stuff, like without all the fans in the stands and with the seasons all being weird last year, I've kind of as I've gotten into doing all this YouTube stuff and all this, I've kind of somehow taken a step back from sports, which was like I cared so much about. I mean, almost equally to as much as I love games. Sports has always been like right there, and sports games have always been a huge part. Like I said, me and my brother shared a room, and we always played Super Tecmo Bowl together,
Okay,
like
fair enough.
every day, and we battle against each other. That's a football game, American football, if you're not familiar.
You have to clarify with us British people, don't you?
Yeah. So that's a very popular like American football game from back in the day.
Fair enough.
And I played FIFA, the baseball games. Played I've in the Dreamcast. Started with 2K. Right, that's when I got into 2K basketball and 2K football, which isn't around anymore. But man, I've been playing sports games since I can remember. I mean, that's like kind of always a go-to for me is sports games. I mean, that's back to the original systems. There's always been sports games, and I've always tried to find the best of whatever they are at the time to play. But that also equally into the actual sports as well.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, I would agree with you. Like, I would say, would you say you had more fun playing sports games growing up to how they are now? Because now it's all about, if you want to really get into sports games online, from what I gather, I'm no expert, but EA, don't they try and get all your money out your wallet for the Ultimate Team? Is that right?
Well, the last several years, it's been going down this Ultimate Team pipeline where they spend so much investment and time with the Ultimate Team modes that it's kind of detracted away from the rest of the game. And they've made less advancements with the rest of the game now because of Ultimate Team. And they're raking in the money with Ultimate Team. And I got heavily invested into Ultimate Team myself. I became almost a victim. It was my choice, right? I mean, it's just, but a lot of these people out there, I mean, they make you feel like you need to get this, oh, you really want it, right? And if you got the extra cash at the time, it's hard to pass up on some of this stuff if you really are into that ecosystem. So that's one of the reasons I haven't got the sports games this year. For one, a lot of them are $70 on next gen consoles right now.
Yeah,
and they're built the modes are built around kind of making you want to purchase things, and it's hard for me not to do that when I'm involved in the ecosystem. So I kind of have to force myself out of it to make sure I don't get sucked into that in a way. I maybe it's like a personality thing with me, but
no, I can agree with you. If you're really into it, because from what I gather, I mean, where I used to work, there was a lad that was really into FIFA, and he said to me, "Oh, I've spent only in the past 2-3 months, I've spent over £1,000 in Ultimate Team." Yeah. I said, "How did you spend that?" I said,
"It's easy.
We got shit wages." Yeah, but I live home with mum and dad. I said, "Well, still." I says, "Wow." He says, "Yeah, it's like gambling." Yeah. He says, "It literally is." He says, "If you get hooked to it," he says, "it's really bad."
Yeah, you can get hooked into it, and it's easy to. Oh, I'm just gonna, do it this one time, and you end up doing that like 6 times. The bundles that they sell during the weekends are usually around $100.
Wow.
And you can buy those twice. They have other bundles you can buy that are $50. You can buy it 4 times, and there's no guarantee of what you're gonna get.
Is it more of a loot box style thing? You don't know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I didn't know.
You don't know what you're gonna get. There's odds. There's limited time cards that you can only get by pulling packs. So it's like opening real baseball cards or football cards. Where the different cards have different values, and you try and get the rare ones. The difference here is no matter what you're getting is going to lose value. And when the next game comes out, it will have pretty much 0 value, right? So you're spending real cash on something that has no actual value except for the immediate payoff of fun and the ability to win games, right? And show off what you got. So it's kind of I don't know. A lot of people don't mind it, I think it's been kind of ruining sports games, personally, the last few years. And even though I was really big into it, now looking from the other side, I forced myself to stop because of this, and I'm very against it. I think it's something that should stop.
Well, it is. Our government keeps looking into it, UK government, about FIFA and gambling, and they have yet to actually do anything. Because technically, if it's got ultimate teaming and they do class it as gambling, they would have to make FIFA a PEGI 16 rate. No, sorry, if it's gambling, it's 8. They'd have to make it an 18 rated game, PEGI 18, and that would cut off. Well, that would cut off basically the entire game, because most of the kids, a lot of them play it, kids, and they pester the mum and dads for money and shit.
What I don't understand is this. Okay, if they want to have something where it's invested, the whole mode is invested with potentially spending money. Like have a free to play experience and not have a $60 to $70 barrier at the entry into that, right? Just make it free, drop the price on the ridiculous prices they have on the content, and make it more available for more people to have more fun. You can still make more money and have it more manageable for individuals to be able to enjoy in the experience, as opposed to having this premium $60 entry fee to a storefront where they're going to charge you out the ass for more content. And that's what I have the most issue with. Keep the base game separate from this. The thing that's interesting is because this is a sports game, it's kind of like a lot of like really hardcore gamers that play like the RPGs and indie games and all these different things don't really play these sports games that much. But you have a lot of casual gamers that play these sports games as well. And they're kind of just stuck in that world and a lot of times, and they don't really know beyond that. And like, for example, when EA tried to do something similar with Battlefront 2, the internet went crazy. People were freaking out.
Like Darth Vader was 800 hours to grinding to earn him. That's crazy. That's what I heard.
Flipped. People were like, hey, no. And the game bombed at launch. They had to force all these changes. Star Wars, Disney got onto them and stuff. It was like, hey, you need to make changes. But there's no outrage from the gaming community against EA, 2K, over the Ultimate Team and My Team practices, right?
No, it's true.
So it would take that kind of outrage, which maybe this year with the review bombing on Madden, maybe this year that has happened, but I still don't see any response from them acknowledging that.
Is until they see their profits dip, they're not going to bother. That's how them companies work, though. They look at numbers, don't they?
Yeah,
and if their profits still up, they don't care.
And Battlefront 2 was a big investment for them, and it didn't sell well because of the outrage. And people voted with their wallet, and until people vote with their wallet again on this, it's not going to answer. So I'm not buying any more Ultimate Team content, right? Like period. Like, and if I have to barely play the sports games in order to make sure I don't do that, then I will. The tough thing is I really want to play the show. So I really want to play MLB The Show. I'm hoping that it's not as bad, right, with that game.
Well, hopefully Game Pass give you a discount as well if you want to buy it, because there's a lot of confusion about that game. Because to start with, when you looked at the game, it did say there was a discount, but then that writing disappeared.
Yeah, it was a glitch.
They changed it. It is. Yeah. Because I looked at it at first, and then I went back on a bit later, and the Game Pass discount had disappeared off the listing, Yeah. So I don't know, but anyway, so in general, sports games were probably more enjoyable when you were growing up. Then,
even like as in my 20s, they were a blast, and it's only really the last like 3 or 4 years that it's gotten really bad. And I had a lot of fun playing those modes. Right, I'm not going to say I didn't have fun playing Ultimate Team. It was a blast, right? But then you look back at your wallet at the end of the year and, hey, how much did I spend on that game? Like, holy crap. And now I get, now it's just a new one coming out, and they in order to have that same experience, it's either a grind or spend money. That's the way to compete. You have to grind, and if you don't have the time to grind like that and be dedicated, then you spend money, and that's the only way to compete in that mode. Now, there are other modes, right?
Yeah.
There are other modes, but they haven't paid enough attention to those other modes, I think, because they have so much dedicated into the Ultimate Team.
It's fair enough. Yeah, no, it's hopefully it improves eventually, but until these companies see a dip in their profits, that's the only problem. They don't often, because I used to have a mate at work, and he buy it with that every year, but he never played Ultimate Team. And I said, "Oh, you bought that FIFA for? Just play last year's. It's the same. Just release an update with different players in it." Oh no, would have changed, made this little adjustment. What? That's it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
If you're happy, but no, it's good to hear your experiences in FIFA and sports game. I'll just do a few more shout outs because a few more people came in. Welcome, Invader Gaming. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, Mike from NLG. Thanks for stopping by. Infinite. What else we got? Spooky Sprocket Gaming. Thanks for stopping by. What else? It's going back up a little bit. Welcome, Freebit. Thanks for stopping by. That's it. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone. The chat's going well. Welcome,
friends.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by, Calibrax. He was on a couple of weeks ago. But it's a good turnout. It's a good chat with Mav. It is, definitely. Sorry earlier, I referred to myself as Stubz, and I didn't mean to do that. It was more of a joke, Indy, by the way. That was in third person. But so if you were to pick a console out of all your retro consoles, what would you say your favourite one going back is?
So what do you consider retro?
Oh, retro. All right, then.
Is it a pre-disc or?
Oh, well, I've never been asked that one. God, yeah. So
because to me, Xbox or OG Xbox, I don't know if that's considered retro.
I would go further back than that. I would.
Right. So, is the Dreamcast retro?
Yes, it is.
The Dreamcast is retro.
Good answer. Okay. Are you trying to impress Mike in it?
No, I freaking love the Dreamcast. I think I had always played video games growing up and really been into games and stuff, but I think either as the age I was or something, but the Dreamcast is around that time when I realized I was like, hey, I'm like a pretty hardcore gamer. I started to realize I cared more about it than like my friends, that I was playing games with all the time back then. That I was really invested, and this is probably going to be a big part of my life for forever. I don't think I'll ever want to stop playing games because before that, as just a kid, it was like a normal thing to play games as a kid, and just never really thought about it. But the Dreamcast, when these games kept getting better and better, and I just kept getting so sucked into them and stuff, and loving things about them. I could just run down some amazing Dreamcast games like Skies of Arcadia. One of the best RPGs of all time. Tokyo Extreme Racer, still one of the best racing games I ever had fun with. Then you had the sports games that started on there. You had 2K football, 2K basketball. You had Virtua Tennis. You had Virtua Fighter on the Dreamcast. You had Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yes.
I mean, just like so many amazing games in a short period of time. I had so much fun on that console. I played the crap out of it like every day, so much. Project Gotham in the chat. Yeah, Power Stone. So many great games.
No, it is. Dreamcast was a very good console. It's on my list to get. I want to get one. I got a Sega Mega Drive recently. I want to add a Dreamcast to my collection as well.
Yeah,
I do, but it's a good pick. That is. What would you like? What would you say? This is a weird. I ask a lot of people this because it's not always the same answer as the favorite console. What would you say your favorite controller is retro wise? Because I know what your current day controller would be, but retro wise.
Oh, geez.
Because sometimes it's different from the console. They pick a different one normally. So sometimes.
Yeah. So, this is a tough question. I have to. So retro wise, I'll kind of be outside the box here because something about this controller was just so unique and different, and fun to play on. And that was the Intellivision. Like going back, and maybe it's because it's the first controller I ever played on. But there was something about opening the game box and having the sleeve to the controller and being able to slide that insert in and look at it, and it had it felt really good. It had like this bubbly texture on it, and it had the pictures of what the buttons do, and it had the knob, on it where you turn, left and right and stuff, and it was just so unique and different. It was simple, right? So as like a really young little kid, I could play on that thing, and have a great time with my brothers and sister who were way older than me, right? I loved that controller and that experience at that time.
That's good to hear. And Pong Soul says, "Thank God you didn't say the N64, Mav. You would have been blocked."
I was about to say that just to F with him. Yeah, the N64 controller was just weird, man. I mean, it worked for some games pretty well, but like, I played the heck out of GoldenEye on that thing. But man, the C buttons and the Z button, and I mean, it just had buttons galore all over the place. I will say this: that was the first controller to feature the rumble feature.
I think. I didn't know that.
And that was an add-on that you bought, right? For the controller, and that was pretty awesome. You bought the rumble pack, right? And you put it in the controller. That was pretty awesome about the N64 controller. But yeah, it was kind of wonky. You picked it up, you didn't know how to hold it, right?
No, very good pick. I mean, you are the first to pick that controller. That's good. That is. You've been different compared to the others you have, which is good. But everyone's got their own personal preference. Because it's obviously some people obviously have a favorite console and they love that controller. But when you ask them what would be your favorite controller, a lot of times they pick a different answer from the console. Mm-hmm. It was a groundbreaking controller, Indy said. I think he's like referencing. I don't know what he's referencing. Was he referencing the Rumble Pack?
I
don't know.
I'm not sure. There was a lot of good controllers. Yes. I played on my friend. I had friends that had the Genesis and the Saturn, and I thought those had really good controllers because of the D-pad.
Yeah.
Were good for like fighting games and stuff. I liked I think the GameCube actually had a pretty decent controller. They had this wireless one called the Wavebird, I think is what it was, and I had one of those. And that one was like a really good wireless controller. I think that was the first like really good wireless controller I ever had. So that one was really good. I think the Wii controller was really unique and did a lot of cool things.
It was unique,
But like for me, like the Xbox controller is just like what a controller should be. To be honest with you, it just works. It feels good. The buttons are where you expect them to be. It has good feedback. I think they nailed it with the series controllers.
I would agree, because I didn't think there'd be much difference. Because I said, there's not a lot of difference. Then I tried one, and I'm not a technical guy, but it feels better and plays better.
Yeah,
I don't know what there's low latency. I don't know what else, but it feels a lot better to me. I went out and bought a second one for the Xbox One upstairs.
Yeah, you pick up a One controller now. It feels like a piece of plastic, right?
So I got another Series X controller for upstairs because I didn't like the feeling of it anymore. But no, Indy was referencing the N64, the groundbreaking. That's what he's referencing.
It's the first. I guess you could say it's the first controller that's larger. That had like a lot of these different features on it. They just didn't. The button layout was just wonky, and it had that middle extension that came down with the stick on it, so you didn't know where to put your hands and stuff. So layout and design wise, it had a lot of flaws, but feature wise, it was definitely groundbreaking. But there was, remember, hey, at that time, there was shortly after that or something where you had all these consoles that like came out at the same time, like they were all crazy expensive and all disc based, and there's some weird ass controllers in there too. I think like the Jaguar 64 had like this monster controller as well, and there was some weird stuff. Like the 3DO had a pretty weird controller.
Do you have a 3DO?
No, I've just played. We had this electronics store called Incredible Universe at the time, and they had this section with all of those new consoles because they all came out like the same year. There's like a Panasonic one, there was like the 3DO. Really expensive, there was the Jaguars, and they all failed.
Yeah, I heard that Panasonic one was about 450 quid, 500 quid. And there wasn't many games for it either.
Yeah, and I was like 12 or 13 maybe when all those came out. It's like 94, 95 or something like that. I can't remember. But they had them all displayed on big screen TVs in this one big room. And you could just go up and play on each one of them. And I remember playing. That's the first time I ever played Need for Speed.
Really? Okay.
Was at that store because they had it on display with the 3DO. And that was a great game. Oh yeah. That was I stayed there and played Need for Speed on the 3DO on that thing. Like
this was Maths Arcade for free.
It pretty much. My dad actually took me and he went around and was like looking at other stuff, and I would just stand there and like play the Need for Speed on the 3DO. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I think Mike. But Mike, you said the Intellivision had a good pad too.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about. The number pad where you had the inserts, the sleeve that you slid inside of it. So it had like a number pad, like a phone. Even the cord was like a phone. But the number pad, you took this plastic insert and slid on top of the numbers, and it had pictures for what like the buttons do. It was really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, obviously, it was a great pick, and that's a fun little story. Is about you going to go and try the 3DO and various other stuff. It's really good because it used to be a big thing, didn't it? Going into the shops and trying out the latest console. Back then it was really the only way. A lot of people knew how to buy it, if they wanted it or not.
Oh yeah, I wanted all of them. I mean, if like we were rich and we could have went in that store and just like walked out with every like one of those consoles, that would have like been like a dream come true. But it would have been a waste because none of them succeeded. PlayStation came out and then killed them all, right? But there was some awesome. Even though with all that chaos, like there was some great games that came from that, like Need for Speed.
Yeah, I don't remember when I played Need for Speed for the first time. I probably on PlayStation. It probably was PS1 or PS2. I can't remember. One of them it would have been.
Yeah.
Welcome, Steel Rain. Thanks for stopping by. Funko Land. Goat Force Gaming says, press F to pay respect.
Funko Land was great.
Did you go there a lot?
Oh yeah, Funko Land was like the first place that we had that was like a chain game store, right? We had Funko Land and then Electronics Boutique. Okay, but Electronics Boutique had already existed for a while, and they mostly sold PC games and other things, right? Over time, Electronics Boutique became EB Games, and had been bought out by GameStop, and then they still stayed EB Games in some places and then they changed to GameStop and others. But GameStop also took over Funko Land. So Funko Land was like the birth of game. Like if you could think of what GameStop is, like Funko Land was that, but better. Before GameStop. Like really good customer service. Everybody knew about the games there. It was just a great place to go and like ask questions. The display, the way they had all the games displayed out was like amazing. They gave decent trade-in values on things. It was just like gamer heaven, like as a kid, I go to Funko Land, they had all the game guides, it was awesome. That's where I got my first Xbox, actually.
Nice. Yeah, the days when you got more than a couple of dollars for your game or 50p for your game or whatever,
Yeah.
you get nothing now. You don't hear anyway, unless it's a brand new game just been released,
Oh yeah, GameStop doesn't even have the new games now. Like
Don't
unless
they?
you pre-order it, like you can't guarantee you're going to get anything there.
That's interesting. That is.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah. I
okay.
went in there. I tried to get. I had credit, so I tried to go in there and get Yakuza Like a Dragon and um, Immortals Phoenix Rising, like the day after they came out. Okay, they
Yeah,
hadn't
okay.
received one of them yet, and they didn't know when they were getting them.
Really, this is
And
interesting to
the
me.
other one, they just didn't have any extra copies, And I was like, okay, well, can I get a code for online, And they were like, no,
We've
we
got
don't
some
have them for
pre-owned.
those games. So I just walked
Right.
out with nothing and bought them online on GameStop.com.
Oh, that's really bad. That is.
Oh, it's horrible.
Well, they really are making sure they make the pre-owned money. They are.
Oh yeah. And if it's a new game, there's no pre-owned copies, so they just walk out without a sale. No wonder, hey, there's sales had gone down for a long time if people can't even go into a game store and buy a new game. I mean,
Well, that's
people
what
have
that's
started to
the
get that
purpose.
expectation.
Well, that is the purpose of a game shop. New game comes out, you walk in and buy it
Yeah.
and leave.
Yeah, but they
Oh,
can't. I think they're just trying to not have too much excess on hand because of cost, right? So,
it might be because, I know what's going on at the minute of all the stocks and that, but eventually they will come to an end.
yeah.
Eventually. I thought they were on life support, didn't they? I
Yeah.
read they're not doing very well, but they are now because of what's going on. But it's not. It's due to something different. That is, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad
Uprising.
every time I walk into a GameStop or
Yeah.
like a mom and pop game store. It's like, I'm sorry. I buy my games on digital now. Like, don't don't yell at me.
And I do feel bad for them because
Yeah.
we don't really have. Well, we before it all kicked off here, we had a retro game store open, and I never got a chance to go. And he closed down, but he went online. But he had a Dreamcast for sale. He had loads of retro games. I was like, I'm going to go down there and get some. And he's online now, but the price is retro. You got to like make sure you get the right price, isn't you?
Yeah.
But I was going to go down and look, but it's obviously he had to shut because couldn't afford to stay open. Because of lockdown and all that. What's going on in the world? But yeah, they call them mum and pop stores in America. I've heard a lot of good stories. Have you got any good stories about mum and pop stores you used to go to, or not?
Say that again.
Have you got any stories about mum and pop stores that you ever went to?
Oh, like game stores?
Yeah, that
Oh,
they weren't like Funko Land. They were like independent
yeah.
ones.
Well, the
Yeah.
only one I can think of that because I usually I went in the game stores in the mall, which is like electronics boutique, and there
Okay.
wasn't a lot of mom and pop game stores around here back then. There was like the movie trade co, right, where you could they also had some games, but most of it was chains. Except there when I was in my early 20s, there was a mom and pop game store in a shopping center that was like
Okay.
by our house, and
Yeah.
I was in there. We're looking at stuff, and I just kind of was talking to myself, looking at a game, and I was like, "Oh, that's overpriced," or something. I said it to my kind of myself because I knew that I could get it at GameStop for like $30 or something, and they're selling it for like 45, right? And so there's like a kid that worked there, and I think it was the son of the owner, and he like wanted to kick me out because I said that.
Really? Okay.
So it's like okay, I'll just make sure I don't come back here again. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, buddy. I was just kind of making a comment. But I mean, that's the only one I can think of actually. I didn't spend a lot of time in those stores just because there wasn't a lot of them around. I think where the area that we live It's like suburbs of Dallas, right? So
Okay.
just most things are like chain stores, and you would have to drive quite a ways usually to find a place like that.
Well, that's just fair enough. I'm just interested because a lot of the American podcasters and content creators, they mention mom and pop stores a lot. I just wondered if you had any experience in them.
Yeah,
That was
that's
all.
the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Besides, we have like one near us that I stop in every once in a while. Now, and they're actually a really cool store. I really like the store a lot, and I hope they stay in business. I just don't buy the games physical, right? But I might be going there to get some retro stuff.
Nice,
Um,
sounds good. That does.
but I also, Toys R Us was somewhere I went as a kid to
Oh
get my
yeah,
games.
Toys R Us. It's such a shame what happened to them.
Yeah.
It really is. Mismanagement, I think. There's something big,
Hmm.
and it was big here in England. Toys R Us was massive. It was part of at Christmas. Part of your childhood was hearing the Toys R Us advert.
Yeah.
Now kids, we've got Smith Toys now that have taken over, but they haven't took over all the Toys R Us. They bought some of them,
Hmm.
but not all of them. A lot of them shut down, changed into other stuff. But yeah, Toys R Us was a big part of the of culture here, and I presume in America, a lot of people.
So
Because
I was thinking, like I take it back about. I have one story, if we have time.
okay,
So when I was a kid, uh, there was this restaurant supply store, and at Christmas time, they changed into a toy liquidation store.
oh, interesting.
And every year I'd look forward to that because that's when I could get games. So me and my brother would get to go in there, and they had Sega Master System games for like $14. So we get to
Okay,
go and get like 3 games, right?
yeah,
And that's what we got our games for the year. It was at that time,
yeah,
at the toy liquidation store.
yeah. No, that's a good story. That is. I mean, um, yeah. I don't think I've ever been to one of them before. It does sound good and cheap, which is what
Yeah,
you want. Is
yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's how we got a lot of our Sega games back then. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It just popped in my
Oh,
head.
that's a good little story. If you ever get any stories that pop up, just stop me and just say it. It's good, that is. Welcome, Ice Cold. Welcome, Telegonic. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, War Stew. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, no. Now I was listening to the Profit Cast with yourself and yeah, because both you and Caitlin were on, weren't they?
Yeah,
Weren't you? Yeah. Um, Now, Caitlin said something that interested me when you were talking. When no, sorry, let's get this the right way around. I heard you on the Profit Cast, Caitlin, and then what? I got it wrong. I when I was talking to Pong, the beloved Pong Soul, rising star of
yes.
the podcast world, exclusive deal with yourself to come on the show. Good man, yes. I had a good conversation with him. And when Pong Soul was talking about his career, Caitlin made a mention of, oh, this sounds like Mav talking.
Yeah.
Is there any similarities in your careers? You don't have to go in depth, or you don't have to go into it if you don't want to. Is
Well,
it a similar kind of career?
yeah, and I was actually mentioning to him this the other day because it was really interesting hearing him on the interview because it is he shares a lot of the same sentiment towards things and a lot of the same feelings that I have as well about work and stuff. Um, so me and him both, what it seems like to me, get paid the same way, which is mainly commission, right?
Okay, fine.
And I'm not 100% if that's how he gets paid, but that's how I get paid for because that's what I've been doing my whole adult life is I'm in a business that we get paid based on our performance of sales and stuff. But
I respect that
personally,
'cause it sounds hard
I'm
to me. You know?
yeah, it can't be. Now I've always been good at it because I guess naturally, like he said, but I'm not motivated by it. Like
Okay,
I don't I don't really enjoy necessarily what I do for work, but I think I've been successful with it just because it involves meeting and talking to people. So it's kind of like if I really wanted to invest in it 100% because that's what I'm motivated by. Like it could be, I don't know what could be possible, but I'm content with what I have and what it is. And that kind of, from what he was saying in the interview, kind of like seemed like that is similar to a lot of the ways that he is with his motivations about what he cares about and stuff as well.
You just asked. He just mentioned it. Yeah. Fair, Mav. Commission is a big part of his pay as well. He said.
Yeah, it's basic. It's a tough thing, but it also has its ups and downs. And like this past year, like he had mentioned as well, and it's a really down year for us just because of COVID, and it's not directly, it's indirectly, right? So it's just interesting from his take about how like he the talking about like work ethic and priorities and all these different things, and it's just a lot of similarities with what he said.
Well, no, it's good to hear. I mean, obviously, it's not a job I've ever done. I don't think I could sell anything to anybody.
Yeah,
but imagine you can. Obviously, it's something you've obviously. From what I gather, it's something some people naturally get and some people learn it. Are you really natural at it?
Yeah, I think I've probably decently natural at selling things to people, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
And you can sell to people. You can sell Xboxes, you could.
Yeah, and because I'm passionate about that, right? Yeah. But if I'm excited about something or talking about it, I think that like it can come across as genuine, which I am genuinely happy about Xbox, which I think translates over to people, right? So when I think honesty it goes a long way as well, right? For me, like if you're selling somebody something, people can tell when you're lying, right? So being just truthful and straightforward with people for me has always been the best thing.
That's fair, because I'm not used to selling people something, but now I work for pest control in my dad's business. There's only two of us, but when obviously a customer's got a problem, and technically you have to tell them the price and sell them it. This is how we fix it, etc. So that's technically selling. Mm-hmm. But obviously we don't go in, like, oh, you can have this, and this extra, and we just tell them the price, and we give the service, and we don't like to rip people off, Yeah. But it's a different term. Ours is more like a service that, you've got a rat problem, we can get rid of it for you, and this is how much it costs. Not like
every industry is different with that. It's where I work, we just have a very competitive industry, and that's what I don't like. I like the service side that you're talking about. If I want somebody to come to me that has a problem, we can take care of it. Let's fix it, and move forward with that. But unfortunately, because of the market that we have, the competition that we have here, our industry is very sales driven, and and you have to be aggressive, in order to get that. But it also involves developing relationships and networking over a long period of time, getting to know people. And that's basically where you get your return business. And that's what I've been good at, because I am not the in-your-face guy that wants to like go and tell you need this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I want you to need it before I actually solve the problem.
Exactly, that's exactly what you want, because then they're gonna, that's the kind of thing you want. They want a service, and then you can provide it. It's whether the price is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting talking about. I know you don't want to probably go into what you sell, which is private.
I don't. I mean, I sell roofs. I'm in the construction business. I'm actually a construction manager, a regional manager for a construction company. So I actually manage 8 salesmen. in the Dallas Fort Worth market, and that's where I spend a lot of my time now. Kind of spend a lot of my time in my office doing that. But it's a lot of, once you've been doing it, like I've been doing it now 16 years, and it can wear on you. I think over time, it just like any job can. Right?
Yeah, I was in my dead end job for 16 years, and there was no kind of you could never become higher up. I tried to once, but they were never interested. And when it happened, I handed my keys back. They used to give me keys to the place and let me open up and everything. And then when it came to getting a bit higher, they weren't interested. So I just gave them the keys back. Here you go. What's that for? We're not interested in me getting any higher. And luckily, eventually, my dad took me on. And the potential to obviously take over the business eventually, and that'll be the future. But that's only by luck. It's not by something. Because my dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've still got to go deep. I've still got more qualifications to go. I got my first level and that, but I've got to do level 2 eventually. But but it's like Indie Gamer says. He says you're doing well. You seem to be successful. I mean, seen a few pictures of your house, man. You've got a lovely, stunning house. You know what I mean? That's kind of. It's like when Caitlin puts the pictures up for Christmas pictures. I ain't kidding you. It looks like a Christmas movie. Cool house.
She does a good job.
You're doing well for your family.
Yeah, we've had a really good several years, followed by I'll just be honest, like last year, it has not been good, like it has for most people, right? So, I think it just our business is driven by a lot of things that are out of our control as well, right? So it can be interesting with the ups and downs, right? So we'll have more ups, and right now this past year has been a down for our entire industry in the area. So, but it'll definitely kind of come back. It's just been interesting,
So hopefully the world restores, because everyone, I know everyone's trying to keep safe, but everyone just wants the world to, because basically you can live your life still, do what you want, but the only element they've taken away from you is social, and that's where gaming's sprung to life, isn't it? Because you can talk to people online. I need to do it more. I'm terrible, but it's sprung to life. That's why digital games boosted everything. Because you can't go out down in Britain. Big fan of the pub, and I don't get levered. I don't get pissed, but I have a few. But you can't do that anymore. They've took the social element away, so gaming's been boosted around the world.
Yeah,
because the movie industry is only just reopening. And they've got to have procedures to do. But gaming, they can kind of still make games, obviously, but everything's slowing up a bit. But you're still getting games releasing.
Yeah, 100%, man.
It's been a tough time. It has. I mean, I broke my knee last year. Lost my granddad in December. Lost my nan not recently. So a lovely time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's been rough. A lot of people going through a lot of tough times the past year, and like you said, gaming is one of the best things to come out of this past year. And it's not for us also like the community and actually kind of diving into this. Like we talked about it before we went live. Like I started doing this in July.
Yeah.
But this has been something that is, if I look back on 2020 a few years from now, I'm going to remember the down for sure, right? Just like all of us will. But also I'm going to remember jumping into this community and getting invested and involved with all of these amazing people equally as I will remember the bad. Because for me and my wife, I think I can speak for her also, I think this year has, even with all the down, has brought actually more into our life because of this and the gaming and everything to actually kind of follow our passion more and do things we care about more, as opposed to get stuck in the rat race that we are constantly in. And I think that I hope, looking back a few years from now, that this is basically, or we remember this is where it all started, was actually in this year for us with this, as opposed to just looking at the negative.
Oh no, I agree with you, because it's like, I know I've been in the community a while. I mean, I did make a few videos and a few reviews, and my podcast didn't actually start. This show didn't start till I think it was February of 2020. That's when the Stubzcast started, and that's when it really started. Although I was in the scene and that, but you came out of nowhere. You did. You know what I mean? So what was your inspirations for wanting to get into trying content creation out? Like making videos, streaming, even trying podcasts. Was there any inspiration behind it?
It's tough to say exactly what just triggered me to just finally start it. I started it without knowing any who you were or anybody in the community was, because I wasn't really involved with YouTube, right? So that's kind of where maybe I'm a little different from a lot of the people in this community, because I think a lot of people may have been in the community on Twitter or with a lot of our friends on Twitter and stuff, and then decided to start their podcast. And I don't know if that's true or not, because I didn't know before then. Like I literally made my Twitter account and the YouTube channel on the same day in July. And so the reason I had done that was I had been watching and listening to more podcasts, and not necessarily the ones I'm familiar with that I like to watch now, because I discovered all of these. But I had been watching like the kind of funny and Podcasts Unlocked and Game Scoop, and I had been listening to like those for years, right? And my family had always told me I needed to start a sports podcast or be on sports radio. That's what they always told me I should be doing with my life, because that's
a very confident guy. Even some of your early stuff on the microphone in front of a camera, you seem like, because your passion was sports and what you told me about your background, you do look like and sound like you would suit how you say, a sports like show, podcast, etc. You'd fit that bill. You would, because if that's the passion.
The difference is seeing, that's what a lot of them think, and I am super into sports, but what they didn't know, because I don't share a similar knowledge or passion or the ability for me to really talk about this stuff with them, is that more than sports, I'm into gaming, right?
Oh, okay.
And that's what I like. Xbox is when I got home from work, I turn on the Xbox, right? I sit down on the couch, I turn on the Xbox. That's just what I did, right?
Okay.
And I make sure to catch the Mavericks game, before I go to bed, right? Like I'll go and watch it, or I would never miss a Cowboys game on Sunday. Keep up with how the Rangers are doing, all that stuff. Listen to sports radio when I'm driving if I'm not listening to a podcast all the time, but when I'm actually doing stuff that I am enjoying the most, I'm sitting down playing games, and a lot of different genres. I like so many different genres. So I've always wanted to like be on one of those like shows like Game Scoop or Podcast Unlocked or any of those, like Gamertag Radio, like with Danny and Paris and those things. I always like thought it was so cool what those guys did, and I was like, when TV kind of went away this past year, a lot of the shows me and my wife watched kind of disappeared. I started watching more YouTube, and I saw I think I saw RDX and and another podcast was like, these guys have like a podcast on YouTube, and like they like people watch it. Like, that's pretty cool. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna make a podcast. I don't know how to do it. I've never done anything like that. I was nervous, so I took a camcorder that I have, was set it next to me, and I just talked about games for an hour. And then I figured out by looking on YouTube how to do YouTube videos and
it's all
put
there.
Stuff on. Yeah.
It's a massive bank of it. There's thousands of videos on YouTube. A lot of them talk crap, though, but some of them are good. We notice a lot of them, they all say the same stuff. And you watch a 10-minute video, and you realise they haven't really taught you a lot. But thousands of people watch the same videos. But there are creators out there that will teach you how to do it. You just got to find them. Rough.
Yeah, so what I've always found is I just kind of mess with the stuff myself, and then if I have a question, I type specifically for the question that I have, and somebody's out there has the answer with a video for it, right? So that's kind of how I found. Now there's so many guys that like you and like Indie Gamer and Paul, Flamish has helped me. Like a lot of people, Clowns has helped me. Like Dreadpool that have this knowledge of different things that like people are just willing to like, hey, let me help you figure that out or whatever, and it's been fun. And so, but after I did a few episodes of the podcast, kind of just started tinkering, making videos, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make some videos because I saw somebody say that, hey, in order for people to see your channel, you got to have more videos up, right? So I started trying to make Xbox or in gaming videos, right? Because I wanted more people to see the podcast.
Okay, yeah.
So I did that, and then I realized, hey, actually, I can actually play games and just stream on YouTube, and when I'm playing, because I play, so I just set that up to stream. I'd never really actually watched streamers before that much.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because you do stream. Like, there's a question for you: do you ever play a game and not stream it?
I do sometimes, but most of the time now I'm streaming when I'm playing.
I thought I'm going to ask Mav. Does he ever play a game and not stream it?
I do.
You learn quite a lot, you know.
It's interesting. Like before I started this, like I never streamed or really cared to really stream that much, and I never really watched streamers. That occasionally I'd hop in and watch something like it, just to see how a game looks or something, not to actually watch a streamer, right? But now, look, when I started streaming, people started hanging out with me and chatting with me. It made it more fun to play for me because I have missed that like hanging out with the friends I used to play games with and chatting and hanging out. So I love streaming now and playing games because of the people that come and hang out with me in the chat. Because I just like to talk to people while I play games.
I think I met you once. I think I got to know you. I believe. Was it a Halloween? I don't know when I got to know you. Was it back in October? Was there a Halloween stream?
Yeah, I had a special Halloween stream. Yeah,
and I believe that's when I started to talk to you and come in your chats and stuff. I believe that's when I started to get to know you. I believe. I think that may have been
around that time.
Maybe around then or just before. That's roughly when I started to get to know you, I think.
Oh, right on. I didn't know that. See, that was like my first big thing we tried to do, and I had the Fun Speculation Fright Night, right? And we did like a special Halloween themed stream, and I gave away a copy of Cyberpunk.
You did. I think that was when I met you. If not, it was slightly before that, but my memory's terrible. But that may have around that time, I think.
Yeah, I think that stream I like had like probably like silly outfits on. I think like masks.
Yeah, you done really well. Not many people do that, you know. Dedication.
I was just trying to have fun with people. Like there was, I streamed for several times, like on Twitch. I started trying to stream on Twitch, and nobody watched, but I just talked because I was trying to make videos for the YouTube channel, right? And so that was fun. And I was kind of learning doing that, and then once I moved it over to YouTube because people had started to watch. A few people had started to watch some of the stuff on YouTube. I started having fun doing the streaming on there once I figured that out. And I think I prefer streaming on YouTube. I don't know.
It's always a hard one because they always say Twitch is the best place, but I don't know if it is because it does bring the numbers in, but it's very easy to become an affiliate. It's not very difficult, and there's people that will get you there quicker. If you ask all your friends to watch you for so long, and in our community, most people are willing to give you a follow on Twitch, and it is quite easy. I'm not a streamer, so I don't know. Your perspective is probably different. I'm actually an affiliate on Twitch. I used to stream. I don't do it anymore, but We're live on Twitch, everyone. Hello, Twitch. At the minute we are, by the way.
Oh, right on. Hey, Twitch.
On my Twitch channel. Rarely ever get anyone actually say hello from Twitch.
Yeah.
But not very often. Normally, I get them spam bots that come in and say, do you need 20,000 followers for so much money?
Do you want to become famous?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of rubbish. Yeah, I don't know on that front, Mav. YouTube is the best place to keep your content up because eventually Twitch deletes it. But from a perspective streaming, I don't know what the answer is on that. Yeah, only very few become big on Twitch. You know what I mean?
I think it's probably easier to get started on Twitch if you focus on the community and streaming that way. But if you're focused more on having a YouTube channel and like something else, like for me, streaming is just me hanging out with people, right? I had never started doing this because I want to become like popular or get like a lot of money or anything from this or anything. It's just because I want to have fun and I want to talk about games, right? And if I'm doing it, I want to at least people to see it, as many people as they can, because that's why I'm doing it, right? To interact with people, to hopefully have people care about anything that I do with this. But that's not necessarily anything I do is not going to be for everybody, right? So any growth that I have, I hope it's because they actually like what I'm doing. Because if it ever becomes something where I'm striving for a money goal or striving for a goal of anything specifically that's just not having fun for me, then at that point it just becomes another job, right? And I don't want this to ever feel like a job in any kind of way because this is an outlet for me, right? So streaming for me is on YouTube. I prefer it because that's where most of the guys that I've become friends with actually come to hang out with me, right? Could I become an affiliate probably pretty quickly if I streamed and focused on Twitch? Probably so, but I'm not going to get as much out of that for me personally as I would focusing more on YouTube. Now my streams do go to both now because I've figured that out, and the reason I did that is so that way, if there are people on Twitch, they can interact with people on YouTube and try and merge the communities together, right? And I understand maybe I won't always be able to do that because I don't know the rules in the future with that stuff. But I like the social aspect of gaming, right? I like the communication of it. I like hanging out with people. It just makes games more fun. And a lot of people say they love single-player games and they play single-player games, but even single-player games have always been a social experience. Think back to the games you play with your family back in the day, or your brother or your sister or your friend when y'all were hanging out next to each other playing a game. And my memory always goes to who I was playing with, even if we weren't playing a multiplayer game. Not necessarily the experience in the game. And that's what I like about streaming. It's like just hanging out with people while we play and get to experience the stuff together. Whether you're playing it, whether I'm playing it, or whatever. And I didn't ever expect that to happen from streaming, but that's what I freaking love that. I just like hanging out with people, man.
Nice. It's good to hear your perspective on it. You are right, because you're right. Single player experience. I never thought about that. Going back years, a lot of single player games you play, and everyone else will be watching you. And it's a very good point on that front because. Yeah, your brother or sister will be involved or looking at it. So yeah, you are right. I never thought of it from that angle, man.
And a lot of people too. They say, "Well, I come from a time when there was only single player games." That's not true. Like the first video game was a multiplayer game.
Yeah, because you could plug different controllers in. Technically, that's
right.
Technically, I don't couch co-op, but it is multiplayer because it's not more than one person.
Yeah, it's a competitive multiplayer game, and then you have. Even the earlier systems, the Intellivision, Atari, like you played games against each other a lot, you know? So multiplayer gaming has been around for forever, whether it's playing a fighting game or playing something where you pass the controller around and try and beat each other's highest score, whether you go to the arcade and try and beat somebody's score on Pac-Man or what, you know, it's always been a social experience. Now you can't get sucked into that story and that you know, personal thing, right? Which we all have, which is amazing. But you share that experience with somebody. You talk
Yeah.
about it, you know?
Yeah, you do. You've got very good points that I never thought of before. So well done on that. That's really good. That is. Welcome, Avish. Welcome, Graphic God. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, no. Do you know when you started your podcast? What made you go down the download route, like only doing download podcasts? Was that the premise of it, or was obviously downloading podcasts is a very good way of getting it out to people? Was there a reason why you didn't put them on YouTube to start with?
Well, I think number one, I don't even know if you have the option to do that when you first start your channel. I think you have to have 100 subs, right?
Um,
Um,
mm,
so I think that was one thing. I don't remember 100% on the rules with that. But secondly, I didn't have the setup. I didn't even have a webcam, right? I was using a camcorder like that I set next to me.
okay.
And I just talked. What I had to do was I had the video going from the camcorder, and I was talking into the mic, recording the audio, and I'd have to like try and sync it by like clapping 3 times, to like make sure the audio and the video would be synced up when I edited it after. And that's how I did it at first, and mainly because I didn't know any other way. The other reason is because I was chicken. Like it was a lot for me to even do that to begin with, right? To be on camera, put a video of me up talking about video games or anything. And if I were to have gone live like right away with that, I don't know if I would have been able to handle it,
I agree. You are like, 'cause it's a big thing to go live on camera. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
don't do it and never do it. It is a bold move because it is scary.
Yeah.
People have seen me, or in lobbies and not lobbies, pre-show and stuff. I flick the camera on for about half a second and then flick it off. But in general, yeah, it is. It's a big thing to do. Some people don't. It doesn't bother you, but you are right. If you went live, it might have been a bit more daunting than
Yeah.
build it up slowly.
But it was so hard, actually. I mean, like it's actually way easier for me to do live stuff now, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
interacting with people and talking and stuff. But the hardest thing is actually sitting there for an hour by yourself, talking about the topics to yourself for an audience. And I'm glad I actually did that for a while. I mean, if you go back and look at the podcast, like the first 13, 14 episodes or whatever, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, I respect you for that because it's like it's like it's difficult trying to talk to yourself. It's like when I will bring a video out eventually, people. I keep procrastinating saying I'm making one, but when I make one, it's like when you record your voice, I know it's different, but you do feel stupid talking into a microphone with a live audience there.
Right.
Now I'm so used to podcasting, you see, but obviously you've gone through that with all your shows, doing just literally talking about Xbox, whatever topics, and I respect you for that. You've gone through a bigger learning curve you have in podcasting, because that is, I know people won't hear this, but that's how podcasts started. They were recorded, edited, and put online for download on iPhones, etc. Samsung phones, etc. That's how podcasts started, and like iPods and stuff. That's how it started. So you went the traditional route first, which was good, a good learning process as well. It was.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know I didn't know that all these other podcasts were actually live that I had started. So because I had made the Twitter account and the YouTube account, and I started like noticing like, hey, there's all these like awesome podcasts. I started going to seeing people in the chat and hanging out with people and stuff. And that again, like the social experience, I didn't know was there. I didn't know these podcast chats existed. I didn't know like all these people were awesome on Twitter, and there's this whole social circle of involving video games out there. I just kind of didn't ever get mixed in with it. And once I did, it's been like amazing because there's so many freaking cool people out there. And I've learned because I would discover those from people sharing stuff on Twitter or on YouTube saying, "Hey, check this person out," or like I just stumble upon it like from seeing somebody on somebody else's podcast or whatever, and go check that out. And met a bunch of awesome people like you that I've actually learned a lot from all of you guys, right? And it's been awesome to kind of listen into like the stuff that you do and you say, and it's definitely has an influence on anything that I do.
I appreciate it. Obviously, when I'm on my midweek game, it's a bit different. I say a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't agree with. But when it comes to my interviews, it's what most people don't realise. I do love midweek gaming, but I kind of fell into midweek gaming because I kept doing these reaction streams, and in the end, I got Mr. Tucci and Removable Sanity.
Yeah.
And in the end, they said to me, well, it was near the launch, well, a bit. And they said to us, why don't this Wednesday slot at 10 seems to work? Why don't we just do one weekly? And it was them suggesting it, not me. And I said, all right, we'll do it. So I spoke to my wife and said, is that all right on Wednesday? She said, yeah, it's fine. So that I fell into that. Well, the Stubzcast is actually what I enjoy doing the most. Because although everyone, it's kind of, if you go back and look at my first one, and like first few up to dealer podcasts like that, you'll see, and go back like to now, you'll see a massive difference. Because I had to write questions out, and I couldn't think on the fly. Whereas now, I can think on the fly. Stubzcast and Community Spotlight, I do enjoy them more than midweek gaming. I think they're interesting. People can learn a lot, and there's a lot of good stories that come out of it. I enjoy them kind of content, interview podcasts. I watch a lot of them on YouTube, and I download a lot of them. I enjoy them, but I didn't know that's what I enjoy. But you can probably tell I do interviews, so But sorry, carry on.
Well, you're a great interviewer. I always like watching the Stubzcast because you just do well with the dialogue and stuff, and I think I'm not. I think you may have one of the best like interview shows like with this.
Oh, I appreciate. Sure. I mean, it wasn't my idea, the Stubzcast. It was obviously. Do you know Tom Wild from BG4GHub.com? Do you know? He gave me an idea about it. He said, I've got this idea. I won't ever do it as a show. And it was like interviewing content creators about their journey into content creation and sharing advice and tips and everything. And he's on the first episode of it. Yeah, I do enjoy it. So obviously, like Andy said, I did fall into that too. But, because Tom does say, stop crediting me for it. He says, I just gave you an idea and you ran with it. I says, you deserve to, you came up with the idea, but, I do enjoy it, But yeah, I appreciate your feedback on that. It's good. I mean, going back, people used to praise me. I didn't know what to say. I'd freeze on stream.
Yeah.
And I was like, Graphic God done it to me. I was like, you wouldn't see what I was going red in the face because I wasn't used to it. But now I'm more just you. But you're a very good podcaster. Your shows offer a lot of variety of topics, and you really think about it. You can tell. So obviously, with your podcast, you went through your rise with where you talked for 50 an hour each time. So what would you say how have you found the transition from doing a downloadable show, or obviously you uploaded them to YouTube as well, the audio? How do you find you found the transition from that? Excuse me. From that to being live and having a panel and having a live audience. How have you found that transition? Because there is a lot of people think podcasting is easy, and it's, although I enjoy podcasting, it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is. How have you found that transition?
Yeah. So one of the things about being live for the first time was just the nervousness of screwing things up on a live show. Right. Like, am I going to screw up? Like, because before, even when I recorded, like doing the thing when I'm just recording myself talking, right? I started adding like more like little bits of production and stuff into it, like week by week as I went on, which was cool because I had like a lot of control over it after the fact, and also during the fact I started making changes to how I was doing it.
Right.
But when you decide to go live, that takes that out of the picture, right? Because what you have going on, people are seeing it as it's happening. So beforehand, if I were to stumble, like I would, when I was recording like the podcast by myself, bro, I would sit there and I would stumble the intro like 20 times, right?
Really?
Just because I'm thinking too much about it. Like, hi, my name is Mav, and you're listening to Xbox Ultimate Podcast. This is episode blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, damn it! Then you start over, right? And that's actually like what I went through trying to figure that out. Like a lot of stumbling. And sometimes I would start stumbling or lose my train of thought and sound like an idiot. Because when you're talking for an hour by yourself, sometimes in the middle of it, you can just like, start stumbling your words and you get in your head like, this is going to sound stupid. And is it easier for me to like go and just start over and do everything over again? Or is it easier just to go and edit it? I don't know. So I restarted the things several times, like talking to myself for an hour, which was, if you make videos and you do commentary, you understand this.
Indie
right?
Gamer says, that sounds like me, Mavin. When I do make videos, I will make a video, people. And that is a lot of the reason why videos don't get made sometimes, because I stumble a lot. Maybe I should do more natural ones where I'll just talk on the fly rather than heavily edit it. I don't know.
That's the beauty of live, is because you're in a natural conversation more, and you're talking to people, you have an audience, and even if you stumble, it's natural, as opposed to you stumbling talking by yourself, which can be a little awkward, right? So I think being live actually has a lot of benefits for actually a better show. And I think that the catch is there's a lot of technical stuff you got to figure out doing it live beforehand, like with OBS, with YouTube setting, like just all your scenes that you have to create and all this stuff. And I was nervous about that. Am I going to be able to trigger things and make things happen when I'm supposed to? And is anybody even going to want to be on this show? Because not a lot of people like see it. So did people care?
List as long as your armor people want to come on. I bet it's a good show. It is.
I was surprised that people were actually asking, because I hate people asking. I hate asking people, because not because I don't want them to be on, because I'm like nervous. I've always like, is this something you even care about? Like I don't like rejection.
I thought in the end I'm gonna have to push him to get Mav onto Boom Show. So that's why I made that. I've got to push him.
Well,
I think you'll thrive on a show like that. You have.
It was awesome that you put that out there.
Anyway, and the lovely comments you got from clowns and loads of other people.
Yeah, it was awesome, guys. I really appreciated that.
It's because you're good at what you do. It's like Jay's just said about Retro Renegades. Theirs is more natural and organic, and they don't even have topics. They just, as the Americans say, shoot the shit.
Yeah.
It's like to me, I'm Retro Renegades, and you've been on before, haven't you?
I've been a couple times.
It's like a chilled out Xbox Live party playing games. I think it is. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much if like we're all having fun hanging out, and I just started to hit record. That's what Retro Renegades pretty much is. It's just like those guys just have a blast hanging out with each other, talking about whatever.
Jay plays games live, and Infinite hosts now too. Which you don't see a lot of people play games live on podcasts at all. I believe that in our community, they're the only ones that do it actually live and direct on the podcast there and then. They are,
Yeah.
But no, your shows are very good. They are. And then there's a question from Indy. When you were doing the recorded versions and your podcast, did you script them, or was it on the fly, or was it on the fly just per se?
So number one, I'm not a good preparer. Like, I don't prepare for anything very well. Like, I have to do things on the fly because of the way my brain works. If I start trying to like do things ahead of time, I get real scrambled. Like, I have to go with the motions and in the flow. So no, I didn't script for that reason. I tried to do script before for some commentary stuff I did on videos, and it just isn't very good. I come across completely unnatural and insincere when I'm reading from a script. So no, I didn't do script. I fumbled through a lot, and just I think for me personally, like it comes across more like I care about what I'm talking about when I'm talking just live to you, like now, right? As opposed to reading from a script. Now, some guys are great at reading from script, and it sounds great. Maybe I haven't developed that skill yet, and I want to, but
I don't possess the skill you talk of. Don't worry. I don't. No.
Do you ever do? What I would do is I'd have like talking points, like topics, and I would kind of have like a couple thoughts that I would write down ahead of time. So that way I would make sure I touched on that because I had that thought and I didn't want to forget about it. So I would have like a notepad in front of me on the PC and I would just look at it and see like, okay, yeah, I remember I was going to mention that, you know. So then I would go into that and talk about it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just how you say it's like I do when I do eventually make videos again. I did script, but what I find is I would say it in a completely different way from what I wrote it down in. It would be different, and I'd miss something, and then I'd like, oh shit, I missed that, and I missed that, and you know what I mean. But you got to write talking points down, like you say. It's a good idea. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. If I see the talking point, like I can go off of that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think sometimes if you have a script, then you can also miss out on the things that just pop in your head, right, when you're talking, which is sometimes the best things, like that just come to you, right? So I personally think for the podcast that I was trying to do before it became what it is now, I think like scripting at that time would have been the wrong move. But with the live show, like with everybody in the panel we have, it's like even way better than I could have thought it was going to be, and that people actually wanted to be a part of this and hang out and be on the show and be on the show like regularly. My wife joining as well. Like I didn't ever think that was going to be a thing. You know, it's kind of developed into this thing, and that's I'm super happy that it is what it is.
No, it's really good because I think I think I caught the first one live. And I said after, I says, you've got to have Caitlin on every show now. This works. Obviously, you're married, but this dynamic works. In our community or in any well, I haven't really seen it where a married couple, are hosting a show where the co-hosts, and to me, it's in our community, it's unique. That is something that's different in it, and I like it. I do. I think that's very good.
Yeah, I remember you sent me a DM actually after that show, and you said that, and I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, it is. I think it works. Welcome, Cloud. Now, I'm going to ask you something. I know the answer to this one, but obviously this is for podcast downloads and other people that may not know Caitlin. But who makes your wonderful banners, thumbnails, and all round artwork?
She does. So she's been behind the scenes supporting this thing from the start. In fact, she was the final nudge to get me to even start doing it, right? So she makes all the overlays for everything that we do. If you go back and see some of my videos when I was actually making videos or trying to, I'll say trying to, she would make the thumbnails for those as well. And it's always like I always get like astounded by the stuff that she does, right? Because she doesn't consider herself like a graphic artist. Right?
Oh, she is. Works very good. I know she doesn't do it professionally. Oh, I don't think she does it professionally, but she's good at it.
Yeah, she's done like different stuff professionally within the same realm, but nothing like what she's doing for us. But it translates. for me, and it's all been awesome to have like her stamp on it. Like it's been a lot of fun. Even like if just making like a joke on Twitter sometimes of like, hey, I got an idea for like a meme or something, and I'll tell her like something, and she'll go run with it. Like she made a meme of Craig trying to win an Xbox from Taco Bell. Like stuff like this that she's made for me and let me put it on Twitter and stuff like that. Like I love the stuff that she does.
So, with that being said, do you give Caitlin any ideas of what you want, or she just come up with ideas by herself? Do you mention anything you want, like your intro? Did Caitlin make that as well?
The intro videos, no, I did all that. I do the video stuff. Yeah,
that was very good work as well. I need to make myself one.
Thank you.
Point. But
yeah, that's good. Just from learning like a little bit from me trying to make videos before, which I need to spend more time and actually focus on making it like a newer version, because I think it can be better for sure. But making stuff like that I think is really fun, right? So yeah, but the logo, like what you see right now, the FS right there, like she designed that, right? Like so she'll like ask me questions or ask me, do you want this or do you want that? But it usually comes from like a general sense of her just running with stuff in her own direction at the end of the day. It all comes from her. And then she'll ask me questions about certain things. Do you like this? Do you not like that? Like, or I can make a suggestion, but it's like, I would say it's 90% her, at least.
No, that's really good to hear, because I didn't know whether you told exactly what you wanted or you just said run with it and come up with something, which is really good, because she's very good at it, doing what she's doing. And well done, Caitlin. You're a very talented graphic artist, even if you don't think you are. You are talented. You are.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Otherwise, because I'd be having to, pay a lot for this stuff probably.
yeah, it's it can cost a bit. It can, But no, it's very, very good artwork and designs and all round. It's really good. You are lucky. You are. So, like, where would you like to see your channel go in the future?
So it's a good question, because when I made the name of the channel, I left it open, right? Because in case I wanted to do stuff with sports or with movies and TV shows and stuff, because I love all of that. Like I'm like an entertainment junkie, right?
Okay.
I have to constantly have my eyes on something. I'm either on my phone, I'm watching something, or I'm playing a game, right? I'm constantly absorbing some kind of entertainment when I'm not working, right? Like it's just, I don't know why exactly, but I have to do that. I'm not I'm going to go for a stroll or, I'm like, I just like absorb content, and I wanted to leave it open because I love talking about all that stuff. Like if I'm at a party and somebody brings up like movies or TV shows or video games, I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's just talk about this and then they want to walk away because I won't shut up, right?
Okay.
So I left the name open, fun speculation, because that's what it is. It's fun talking.
It's not linked to gaming. It's open, so basically you could literally talk about anything within pop culture, which means anything really, which is good.
Right, which is that's what's coming around the corner. Because we have Xbox Ultimate, which is for me like my top passion is gaming, and that's the platform I play on the most.
Great
right?
show.
So there's that, and that's going to continue in the whatever direction it heads in. I think we have some good growth there, and more people are discovering it. We have an amazing group of people that come and hang out with us on Friday nights in the chat and listen, and then play games a lot with us afterwards, which that's all Kate trying to make sure that she set that up, because she loves playing Halo with people, right?
Well, I'm actually going to be in the Halo competition. I decided to enter it.
Oh, way to go, Stubbs.
Gaming is in the Halo competition. We're going to be.
Heck
So
yeah.
no wonder you'll kick our ass probably.
We'll see. We do have 3-bit on our team. So
Well,
we have the ace. We have the ace up our sleeve. I think we'll
yeah.
see, man. It'll be good. But so we are starting another podcast, and the first episode is going to be on February 21st at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
So it'll be right around the same time as the Stubcast. So hopefully it doesn't interfere with you too much.
It's just before.
Yeah, be before, right?
I've got a very good guess for that day, but I can't say. It's a surprise for everyone. Yes, but yes, I'm looking forward to that because I heard you advertise that on this week's show. You were talking about it.
Yeah. So we thought of a name. We're gonna have 3-bit on there. You know him as the VGHD on Twitter. He's on Xbox Ultimate Podcast, the Video Games HD. You can also see him on one of Boom's shows at Double Barrel Gaming. We're gonna have him as well as Psychonauts is going to be with us, and I'd always wanted to have like more than one podcast because I wanted more than one outlet for talking about this stuff. I wanted to have Xbox. I wanted to have like the movies and TV shows and stuff, podcasts, and then eventually maybe a sports one. We'll see if that comes down the line. I don't know, but I was talking after playing Halo one night with 3-bit and Psychonauts just in the party chat.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about I think Wonder Woman 84, and we had all just watched it, and we were having like this deep discussion about the lore behind things and like people from past movies and all and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. I want this. This is what needs to be that show, right? This conversation that we're having right now is what I wanted all along to be for that show. So I asked them like on the spot, and I was like, hey, would you guys want to do this? And they were like, yeah. They said, yeah, they would be down. So that was like 2 months ago almost, but we've been in the DMs talking and stuff. So we're going to start it. It's going to be starting February 21st, and we are named. We wanted to leave it, or maybe a lot. I'm selfishly like putting a lot of my own stamp on this, but I wanted to leave it open to be a lot of things. So named it Fun Pop. It's gonna be like a pop culture podcast. We talk about a lot of different things in the entertainment world with Psychonauts and 3-bit, and it's gonna be a blast hanging out with those guys, talking stuff. We may have surprise guests on. And who knows what kind of deep dives into shows or movies or anything we could have on there. So I'm super looking forward to that, dude.
Oh, that sounds very good. That does. It's nice to see. It's nice to listen to and have different kind of podcasts because you can get in this bubble where you only listen to gaming podcasts, and that would offer a bit of variety in your content as well. And hopefully you might be able to attract some different kind of subscribers and viewers to your channel, which would be really good.
Yeah, for me, it's just if anybody wants to hear it, then they'll, enjoy it, or if they don't, then that's okay. It's just at the end of the day, it's all for fun. I think for us to create and hang out with people and stuff. So I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be fun. Kate's been working on some graphics on there. I think 3-bit may be doing something with the intro for us, which he's a really good. He's an animator and designer, so we'll see what he comes up with. But
yes, check out the Stubzcast, peeps. I had the 3-bit on. He revealed all. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, he's awesome. So we're really looking forward to doing that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's. You got any other plans, or is that currently the plan? Have you got any other plans where you want to see the channel go, or are you just going to see where it goes from there, and see how well that does to start with?
I want to make videos again because I kind of got away from that, but it does take so much time. I got to come up with a way I can not cut into my gaming time and still be able to create some kind of videos. So I've been kind of coming up with some ideas on some different kind of show or content we could have while gaming. Also, maybe some short commentary stuff might start popping up again. I don't know, man. I kind of just I feel like I don't want to put too much like planning or thought into it. Otherwise, like it becomes something that I don't want it to be. I think it's for me, it's like a natural thing. It just becomes whatever kind of content we end up putting it on. It's hard. It's hard to say exactly what it'll be. I'm happy with the direction that we started it in because I think it leaves it open. I can guarantee you, the Xbox and gaming is going to be a huge part of this forever. As long as it's a big part of the community, right? Like if Xbox shuts down, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, then that might change. But yeah, Xbox is definitely going to be a big focal point on it for me. Video games in general. Maybe you might see something focusing on other consoles in the future as well. Yeah, I kind of wanted Fun Speculation to become like a network of shows and content involving what a lot of my passions are. That was the idea behind it. An outlet to talk about the things that I'm passionate about, like with gaming, with movies and TV shows, with potentially sports on there. But figuring out what that is a tricky thing. So we'll see what all it turns into.
No, it's good to hear it is because obviously you've got to have a balance between still enjoying gaming and putting some content out. You don't want to be the content to overtake your life and then you're not gaming anymore, as that's what it was never intended to be.
Yeah.
So you got to find that balance, haven't you? Which is good with the new podcast. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be successful. It will.
Yeah, I know it's up to me, but also like the awesome people that we have. Like I think I'm lucky as heck to have like Pong, Soul on the Xbox Ultimate, and 3-Bit on Xbox Ultimate, and my wife hanging out with us on Xbox Ultimate, Assassin Lupa on there, because they actually like are people show up for them, I think, to hang out, right? Like because they're awesome people, and I'm just grateful.
Sorry. I just had a spam message in a Twitch feed. Want to become famous?
I told you, want to become famous?
Big followers, bigfollows.com.
There you go.
Sorry about that. I've just seen it pop up. But yeah, no, sorry, carry on.
No, you're fine. I was saying I'm lucky to have those people want to be associated with it because it just makes the content better, right? So it's all about people.
Well, it is. I mean, having your see, here's the thing. On YouTube, it's a funny thing. If you're a gaming channel and you put out a gaming channel, the algorithm understands you're a gaming channel. But if you try and grow your channel and have diverse, it's harder to grow a community. But
yeah,
I think the majority of people that will follow your Xbox Ultimate podcast will watch also your new podcast because they like you. They like 3-Bit. They like all the people you can have on the show, and you will get some new subs. You will. But YouTube's a funny game. It really is funny.
The interesting thing, like, is I don't honestly like. I mean, only reason I would care is because I want people that I like to be there and hang out with. But as far as like the numbers go and like, hey, how does this affect my channel? Like is having like a non-gaming thing going to be a detriment like with the growth, or is gaming going to be a detriment to the other podcasts or any of that stuff? Is for me personally, I don't care. Good. All I care about personally is if the people that want to find the content and enjoy listening can find it. And whether people want to watch one show or the other show, it doesn't matter to me as long as people actually that are there watching it enjoy what they're watching, right? And if I would rather have a slow, steady growth over a long time with people that actually want to hang out and care about the content than people that are just there to troll or looking for a certain topic and don't really care about what the people have to say. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's good to hear that. It's because it's all about having fun on YouTube. The numbers don't really matter because the numbers can drive you crazy. Numbers can make you end your YouTube channel think, well, it's not worth it. Because not many people in the end do get to the point where they can earn a full-time living off it. Not that many people actually get to that stage, And the majority of people just enjoy doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And I can tell that you're passionate about YouTube. You do it for the fun, and it comes across in your content and your videos and your streams and your podcast. It's good. That's how it is. It's like YouTube. It's like you can watch all the videos in the world you want and spend 20 grand on gear. It doesn't mean you're going to become, an overnight sensation, which a lot of people believe. You know what I mean? So, but it is good. The content you produce is really good, and I hope that you continue to grow and grow because you are. You surpassed me in numbers. I knew you would. I did say.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Yeah,
but your channel is going to keep growing and growing and growing.
There's no race, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's all good. But a lot of people download my podcast now, so I've put a lot of things about downloading the shows as well.
Yeah, I've always had mine up there. I can't figure out like how to make it more discoverable, or maybe just people don't care to listen to it. So I don't know. Either way, it's fine. But it's up there as well. But yeah, I listened to yours on Spotify, I think.
Oh, cheers! I've got to correct the feed actually. I was looking earlier, and I've missed Clowns off the feed. He's not on there. I was like, okay, I've got to get that up, because he's been on before. Yeah, so but I thought I had everyone on the feed. I've got to go back and I've got to re-upload that to the Anchor feed. I have. But welcome UK Dazarus and welcome Mass Mayhem UK. Thanks for stopping by. But no, yeah, it's all good. I mean, what did you think about getting in? What did you think about getting into the Gamers United Guild? Was that a big surprise to you? And had you previously heard of the guild?
So, number one, it was amazing to be introduced to the guild with you. And it was awesome to see your reaction because I went back and watched it live because I think I was streaming actually at the time, playing a game when you hopped in and told me to check my DMs, and I saw that. I was like, whoa, this is freaking cool, man. And so then I went back and watched your reaction on your show, and I thought it was amazing and like really touching due to how awesome it was for you and everything. So yes, I had heard of the guild. I didn't really know what it was other than something that I saw at the beginning of these podcasts and stuff, and saw in the descriptions of some of the channels. And I knew it was kind of like a collective or whatever, but I had never really looked that much into it or whatever, right? I had been new to the community as of July and only had become familiar with some of the podcasts as of like September, October, November, right? Mm-hmm. So learning all this stuff has like been fairly new, and it's what I took from it most when you told me to check it and I saw that was that how many awesome people were part of it, and that they actually had this like acknowledgement that they wanted to have something to do with us, and that was what it meant to me, is that it's an honor to have these people that I actually look up to, that I'm learning from, I've been listening to, like NLG's production value on their podcast. I was like, when I first saw their podcast, which was a few months ago, I think, I was like, wow, like, man, these guys know what they're doing. I need to like learn from this. I like watched and saw what they're doing with some of this stuff, and like, okay, like, hey, holy crap, this is really good. And they're also great, just chilling and talking about games. Clowns inviting me to Four Guys with Quarters and being a panel member on there, and then kind of taking me under his wing a little bit, teaching me stuff, and just being awesome.
You're very knowledgeable. Like when you speak about the subject, it's like this guy's gone to a deep dive. He's been on Google. You do know your stuff. Even if it's subject you've never played the game, you will go and look up stuff, and you'll still talk about it, even though you've never played the game. It's very good to see. You're very knowledgeable in the podcast. It's like Indie Gamers put here. He's put, I think very highly of you, Mav. You're one of the most knowledgeable gamers with a very great with a great approach on podcasts.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Also, indie gamer. I mean, holy crap! Also, production value. Did you guys see his podcast yesterday?
Yeah,
just amazing. I was lucky enough to be on his the Indie Game Awards show with him. He asked me to be on there, and you might be seeing me on one of his podcasts coming soon as well. First off, like, you can tell he's invested into like making his channel better and his content. He really cares about it. The streams that he has talking about the indie games, talking about somebody that actually like knows a lot about these games and is passionate about them. That guy is legit, guys, and I think he's going to become one of the most successful people out of this community, just because of that that real passion for indie games that comes through on the streams and on the podcast and everything. So, cheers to you, also, Indy, as well, man. As far as like looking stuff up and everything, like, yeah, I have, like I said, I've been obsessed with absorbing content.
Okay.
I've kind of absorbed less over the last couple of years when it comes to like gaming websites and news like involving games as much, but I obsessively, I mean, I was on all the sites like every like day, checking them multiple times, reading every article there is, and I learned a lot from that. Plus, also because I like to play a lot of different genres, I think that kind of helps a little bit with that. But I have a weird sense of absorbing useless information and then not absorbing the important information. It's kind of a flaw, actually, in some ways, and you can ask my wife about that, but that's very true. Like, I'll remember the weirdest things, but I will forget stuff that's important, or like I'll play a game today. 2 weeks later, I'll forget the controls completely. I'll forget everything that happened, all that kind of stuff. It's really weird, man. I don't even understand the way my brain works 100%.
That's fair enough. That is, it's all good. It's like, but you are right. Getting back to the Gamers Guild, it was more, what touched me more was the I mean, Mike from NLG, Fastback, Graphic God, Indie Gamer, Mass Mayhem. Many of these have always told me they really like the Stubzcast show and they appreciate it, and I'm a good creator, but it's just the acceptance of being in a group that's accepted you in because they like your content. That's what struck me emotionally, as you may have heard. Yes. That's what it was. Yeah,
100%. And especially because it's something that, like, I feel like I don't feel like I'm making content. Yes, it's content creator because I'm putting the stuff up there on YouTube, but I really feel like what I've been doing is just putting myself out there, right? And the stuff that I care about, the stuff I like to talk about, the stuff that I like to see, right? The stuff that I like to hear. And that's what I've been trying to portray. That's what I've been trying to show. That's what I've been trying to talk about. That's what I've been making content for. That's why I've been playing these games, is because that's what I'm into. And to have somebody say that, hey, we like that. We want to be associated with you in some kind of way. We like what you're about. Right, it's humbling, and it's a form of acceptance of a group of people that you look up to, and that's what it means to me.
No, it's a good group. It is. So this is the last part now. So if you had any advice to people that want to get into streaming, content creation, anything like that, what advice would you give to them to be starting out or even dare to try it?
So first off, I would ask yourself, what are your motivations for starting to create the content? If you're doing it for money, then make sure you're prepared, for the realization that this is something that you're probably not going to make any money from. So that, number one, you should not make content creation for that, right? Unless you're prepared to make it a full-time job, right? I would say make sure that you are putting out there stuff that you care about, to be genuine about it, to actually have something as an extension of yourself that you're putting out there. I guess, there are a lot of content creators out there that you can tell 100% are just making content for the numbers and the clicks.
That's very true.
And now, if it's done in a positive way that is for informational purposes or whatever, that is great, right? But please don't get obsessed with the numbers to the point that you are making content to drive negativity and toxicity and argument to be able to help your numbers out. Because at the end of the day, that is not a win for you or anybody and is actually a detriment to the entire community. So that would be number two. Make sure you actually care about what you are actually making content about, because it is a reflection on who you are. Now, I guess I would also say just have fun with it. It's not meant to be a job. You know what I mean? Like, it's just making videos and content for fun. Like, for me, it is. Maybe you can't do this as a job. Maybe for those people, it's different. So I guess I shouldn't speak for everybody, right?
Yeah,
but
I think the big channels that get hundreds of thousands of views, it's their living, and that's why they do it. It's changed from being a fun hobby to a full-time living. I've got to pay the bills, so that's where that comes from. But I do see what you're saying. It's a different situation, but if you start out like that, your channel will be dead in the water.
Yeah, and that's why I say don't make it for money. Make it for you. And if money comes later, hey, that's great, because it's based on what you did and what you care about and what you want to put out there. Not manipulating the system, not trying to trick people into some kind of debate or argument by putting something like clickbait out there or whatever, especially in this community where there's enough of that, right? Maybe there's room in that for that kind of thing in some other communities. But if you're talking about a gaming related podcast or channel, just stay true to who you are and what you actually want to play. Stay positive. I don't personally want to listen to somebody rail on something for an hour, just not good for anybody. But that's what I would say.
No, they're definitely good words, Mav. I'd fully agree with them words. They're very, very, very good words of wisdom. They are, and yeah, and he said exactly. You have to be true to yourself and passionate about what you cover. It's true. But yeah, it's been a very good show tonight, Mav. I know Caitlin is a big part of your channel and your content, and potentially might get Caitlin on in the future, or the community spotlight, or whatever she feels better on, and have a chat with her. Maybe I don't know whether she would be up for that. I don't know. Maybe in the future. But no, it's been a good show, Mav. Thanks for coming on. It's been fun.
It's been awesome, Stubz. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everybody who showed up in the chat or anybody who's listening afterwards. Make sure you guys please like and share to all of Stubz' awesome content and interviews that he does. Check out Midweek Gaming on Wednesdays. Has an amazing podcast with a great panel. Thank you so much for having me on, dude. It's been awesome. Oh, yeah. I wanted to shout out one thing real quick before we because this popped in my head earlier and I forgot.
Okay.
You were talking about how like I like seeming like I'm like Google and stuff and know a lot of this different topics and stuff. Well, there's one person out there that I've like shocked at how much information and deep they have knowledge on so many different topics. And that's Pong.
Oh yes, he is.
Pong Soul is freaking like a monster of knowledge, guys, and deep dives. And it seems like every game I play with him, he has like 80 hours in at least, and he's like knows everything about the game. Where I'm like, I don't remember how to do this, and he's like, "Oh, let me show you, Mav. You know, like you just do this and this. Yeah, I got level 26 on this. You know, it's here's how this system works. This system works." And I'm like, "You've been playing this, man?" He's like, "No, I haven't played it in like 3 months." I'm like, okay, like holy crap, that guy's like amazing, and I'm super happy like for everything he's been doing on all these podcast shows. Instead of just being in the chat, he's been putting himself out there also, and proud to have him as well as all the other awesome people on the panel for our show. I just wanted to give a shout out to that because when you said that, I was thinking of Pong, right when you were talking about me.
No, he's very well informed, and apparently we have. Lucky we didn't swear or anything. Mike's family's been listening. I forced my family to listen to this during dinner tonight. This has been an incredible Stubzcast. So it's just lucky we didn't swear at all. Then it was.
Well, I'm just kidding. Hey, thanks, Mike's family. I hope you enjoyed your food.
Yeah, hopefully it was a good meal. And hopefully Mike cooked it. Or maybe not, depends if he's good.
Yeah.
But it's been a really good show, it has. Thanks for coming on. Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Sure, man. So Fun Speculation on Twitter. Fun Speculation on YouTube. You can find the Xbox Ultimate Podcast on the YouTube channel as well as now it's on Twitch as well. And also it's on Anchor FM, which puts it on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And I think it's on Google Podcast still and all that stuff. So guys, check that out. If you can't catch it on YouTube, on Friday nights live at 9 p.m. Eastern, they can catch it afterwards. Coming up on Sundays, starting February 21st, you're going to have the Fun Pop podcast as part of the Fun Speculation YouTube channel with 3-Bit and Psychonauts is going to be on there. Make sure you give all of our panel members, Pong Soul, Assassin Lupa, Caitlin, and 3-Bit a follow on Twitter as well. They all have awesome content. You can find them on other shows as well. And also on 4 Guys with Quarters on Tuesdays, I was lucky to be asked by Clowns a few months ago to be on that show full time. Super excited about that. Tomorrow, going to be on We Bleed Green podcast with Dirt Griggity. And I think I get the date right, but I think the 20th, I'm going to be on the Indie Gamers podcast as well. So lots of fun stuff coming up, guys. Can't wait to hang out with all of you then. Oh, and Mad's podcast is coming back. Mad's Next Gen Squad podcast is making a return, and that's actually on Thursdays. So they'll be making appearances on that as well.
Caitlin's saying it's on a Friday.
Yeah, it's on Thursdays. She mistyped, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, you're everywhere, mate. You're everywhere.
Yeah, I guess I'm one of those podcast junkies. I just like talking games with people. If somebody says, "Hey, let's talk about video games," I'm like, "Okay, where do I sign up?"
No, it's really good. You're all booked up. You are. Yeah, Indie Game was just confirmed. It's the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a good show. That will be. That will. But yeah,
it'll be a Hollow Knight by then. He's gonna quiz me on it.
I was about to say that, but I didn't want to push you on it. But I did watch you. I was slightly jealous. I mean, when you were playing, and you like Stubz wants me to die. I did though, didn't I?
Yeah, I think no, I've died a couple times now.
But no, yeah, it's been a great show. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, Indie Gamer, Pong Soul, Caitlin, obviously, but she's listening in live from the same house, which is cool. Well, thanks, Mike and Mike's family. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Daz, Muppet, Masuku. Who else we got? Let's see how far this goes up. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mass Mayhem UK.
Don't forget about the name we saw at the beginning. Which one was that? Knick-Knack Paddywhack.
That's it. Thanks for stopping by. And Dragon Wolf and Telegonic, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. I appreciate all support. And next week, on Friday, we have the Indie Gamer.
Woohoo!
On a Friday this time. Didn't really want to do a Valentine's podcast, really, because people might take the mickey. But no, in general, I didn't want to do all of that. But we will organise it for next Friday. The Indie Game will be on, and I'm sure it'll be an incredible show because Indie Game is a very good creator and podcaster. I'm sure it'll be a pleasure. It will. I will be going through your old videos, Indie. Don't worry. I will, to have a look at your when you first started out to where you are now. I can't wait.
Shout out to the chat, everybody. Thank you, guys. All of you, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It was a blast. All you guys are freaking awesome. All of you. 100%.
And then also, and then on Saturday we have the Stubzcast. The Dazcast is back next Saturday, and I will be on there, and the whole crew. Dazcast has returned. Finally, it's a good show. I don't know if you ever caught it before, Mav. It's a really good show. It is.
The which one again? Sorry.
The Dazcast.
Oh yeah, I see. I need to go back and listen to some of those because it's coming back, and I think it had stopped around the time I kind of got into the community.
It'd be an eye opener. That will be. Anything can fly on that show. It's good fun. It is. So thanks for stopping by, everyone, and I'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Yeah.